Welcome to Corinne's Picks. I'm guest host Daniel Lanzilotta, and tonight's guest is Larry Morse, an incredible artist who's done a series of paintings called Black Men Reading. It's a very timely series of paintings, which I believe is a great method of having social activism in front of you as a painting, as art. Larry, welcome to Corinne's Picks. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Can I just read you something that Frederick Douglass said about reading? Once you've learned to read, you will be free forever. And your paintings, Black Men Reading, hit me in a way that I have not stopped thinking about these series of paintings. It is activism at its very, very best. It's constructive, it's conductive, it has a message, your paintings have a voice. And so when I'm looking at artwork that's about activism, which is where I want this show to be, art, activism, you stood out in my memory, and the paintings have not left my memory. They're just that powerful. So could you just let us know and explain to us how you came to this amazing body of work?
That's a really good question. I ask myself that all the time.
Because you told me you're an abstract painter.
I'm an abstract painter. Let's just say after a certain point in my development, I found comfort and great gratification in making abstract work. And as time went by, it occurred to me, is this all there is? They're nice pictures. As much as I found each successful and triumphant in its own way, I felt that pretty pictures were not going to be enough to satisfy me as in terms of answering that question, what is my purpose?
Right. So I had mentioned to you in earlier conversations we've had about being an activist, and you said you weren't an activist, and I said, no, correction, you are an activist. Your work speaks for itself. I mean, the paintings, as you could see on the screen, are in themselves a voice of activism. The history of the erasure of blackness, what we're seeing now, the banning of books, and where all this comes from, the history of slavery, the fact that African Americans were not allowed to learn how to read, and this drives it home under the current administration and the power that each painting has. And what I love about these paintings is the consistency of the quality of the textures and the way you use the field, the way it's just the way the composition and your palette. Ah, my goodness, that's really captivating. They're each and every one supports the other painting. That's a signature for me.
Well, Daniel, that's very gratifying to hear you say that, truly, and I'm grateful for your compliment. The work comes out of a place within myself that takes care of all those parameters. I don't think much about that. It's almost, or truly, a force that has just taken its place in my psyche as an artist. And I become a tool for it. As hokey as it might sound, I truly feel it. At times, I can't take but so much credit for it. It's something that drives itself. It sees that I am planted in front of the easel, and I don't move until I get some results.
Right.
And I guess it's a subtotal of my sensibilities and tastes for
Did you go into this
the
as
subject.
a political statement, or when you told me about the first painting that you painted in 2018, that gentleman was on the subway, I believe?
Yes.
Okay, and then you approached him and said, "May I take a picture of?"
Actually, that gentleman, I felt at that time I was so bold as to just take his picture. And my motivation to take his picture was, hey, I'm seeing someone like myself, because I can't get on the subway without a book.
Right.
I don't know how anyone just gets on a subway and just endures the experience of a ride.
Right. Well, now we're drunk on the iPhone and what have you on the subway.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Right. But
everyone's plugged into some device on the subway to ease the trauma.
Okay, exactly. But I've been tempted at times to take a shot of or commit myself to the image of, let's say, someone who's caught up in their iPhone or the like. But there's nothing like a book.
How did you go from the first one to the second one to the third one to 21 paintings that you have in the series about black men reading? The title alone is powerful, and can you elaborate on that title?
Yeah, it's really quite magical. All I have to say is that for anyone who feels in any way that they resemble myself in their aspirations, just do it and lose yourself in it and not think much about it. And a lot of these questions will be answered for you, just somewhat magically, like from the cosmos. But I did the first piece, and which came as a result of having compiled maybe 3 or 4 pictures of brothers reading on the subway. I took those pictures because, like I say, I just felt this synergy that I just wanted to be able to have in my hand, to be able to refer back to. In a certain kind of way, it's like vanity. I could look at a picture of the brother who I had photographed and say, oh, well, that's what I look like when I'm reading.
Right.
I was astounded by the uniqueness of the image of a black man reading.
Right.
Then it occurred to me that
it's an image we don't see. It's not a repetitious. We're drowning in the repetition of images as brands in this culture. And you're correct. I don't recall. Was it Larry Ellis, the Invisible? What's the name of the book? I'm not recalling the name of the book. Being black.
Ralph Ellison, the Invisible Man?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's sort of in the same genre, being invisible, not without seeing people that look like you with the book.
Okay. There is some tie in there, but it occurs to me that the image of a black man reading, which is non-existent in our society, and which is something I have vowed to satisfy or address by just painting the subject for the rest of my life, essentially. No matter what I do, I'll paint black men reading.
Right.
The image becomes akin to something forbidden, like pornography or something.
Right. I see them also as postage stamps, and that you could actually print these as a knockoff. You could send them to a company on the internet and have stamps made and give them away as gifts to tell people to put them on their letters when they mail something or on gifts or whatever. And you can have this whole series of postage stamps that are your series of paintings. I think that would be really dynamite.
I'm not terrific at marketing. I'm not a great capitalist, and I don't think you are either.
No, I'm pretty good at it.
Just from talking with you, I know the imagination you have, and that really resonates with me. I love that idea, and I'll give it some thought.
You know,
But
you can
yeah.
have stickers even. I mean, it's
Okay.
because they're so powerful and so unique and so well done, and the softness of your palette it's remarkable that the sensibility you have through your choice of pigments.
Pigments, as to do with color, yes. That does not come naturally. It is a science, which I have early on delved into, and I have developed a wherewithal as to how to derive images or atmospheres, and in particular, without using black.
Ah,
Kind of ironic in a certain kind of way. But yes, the method in which I use affords me then a result that has a liveliness about it, and as though a light is actually turned on in the work, and blazes forth or beams forth the point I'm trying to make.
are these all physically the same size in terms of the size of the canvas, or are they different sizes?
Generally the same size. We're talking, what are they, 30 by 40.
And are you stretching them yourself?
And
or
some of them 40 by 55.
do you go through the whole process of stretching it yourself?
I stretch my own canvases, yes. That's something I had learned in art school, and I think it's paid off. I think it's I've saved the equivalent money
Right.
that I paid to go to art school.
Right.
I was chatting with. We're speaking of the venue, Bridgeport Art Trail, and away from my station, where my work was hanging. And somebody told me, maybe you should get back to your area. There might be someone there. And because after hours and hours of just being there alone, I wander away. So I come back, and there's this individual who's really, she's immersed. She's really taken up by one of the images I had there installed.
Can I just interrupt you right there? Because we're going to cut to a break, and we'll
Sure.
finish up when we come back.
Great.
Hi, welcome back to Corinne's Picks. I'm Daniel Lanzilotta, guest host, and tonight's guest is Larry Morse, an incredible painter with a series of paintings called Black Men Reading. Larry, continue on with what we were talking about. We were saying about the how you came to be with the series.
Okay. Always a number one question for me, because it seems it came from out of nowhere. I had been working along in my just normal endeavors of painting things that interest me, and in a non what would you say, contrived way, the series installed itself in my work and my interests,
Right.
to the point where it just had to come out.
So since 2022, when you started this, it's 2025. So in 3 years, you've created or painted 21 paintings.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit of work.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we won't.
Is it candid, or are you looking for people to? How do you go about finding the people to paint?
There we are. Tell me, everyone, does the image of a black man reading catch your attention? So anytime I see a brother reading,
since I've seen the paintings, and that's a good year ago, I've been totally mesmerized by them.
yeah,
And because they're timeless.
okay,
These are like Mona Lisas to me.
wow,
That's what they are. Every one of them, it seems like a Mona Lisa to me, because the expressions, the way you captivated them.
Yeah.
And in a weird way, it has that sense of style.
yeah, okay,
You know, that she's sitting there, she's grinning, she's certain. And you have black men reading. These people are very certain in their posture. That's a very strong form of activism. That's what really, I was trying to figure out, how do I make this work, when I realized that, take for instance this painting. That's a very strong painting about activism. You know, you make that connection, what you've been saying about seeing black men in public reading. That's
Yeah.
powerful. That's the stuff we don't see.
exactly. And I guess if I can't claim being the most observant person in the world, at least I'm observant enough to
Well, you
have
did it
that
here.
catch my attention.
Yeah.
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 And I think about this, and I'm really very grateful for whatever sequence of experiences I had, which culminated into the decision to go this route and to see things the way I do presently. It's really a gift from something somewhere. You know, people talk of ancestors, and but I do ponder the subject, and I ask myself often, who's
We had that conversation the other day
with
about
this.
our genetic makeups and what drives us and how we became artists and what motivates us and what pushes us, and how you're driving a concept and a reality of these paintings that we don't see in the culture at large. Where is that motivation coming from?
Exactly.
You know, where are you mustering up this kind of drive to share with the general public this brilliance? Because that's what they are. I mean, I love these paintings.
An artist would bear me out. We are exposed to any tendency to contrive images or contrive
Exactly.
The spirit of work, whether it be three-dimensional painting, whatever. So it took, at first, as we've discussed, the creating of these paintings came out of the satisfaction of a a need to address the unique kind of feeling of delving into an approach which was mysterious to me, and so therefore, to attempt to answer those questions was kind of satisfying for me. But then as time goes by, I began to realize the true value of these paintings. It's like someone said, "Hello, Larry, are you in there? This is serious stuff." And I don't know if I was initially...
Well, you're also creating a historical record. You know, you're like an anthropologist. You know, there's the past, these are in the present, and there's the future. And so when I'm looking at these, I have to look at these paintings sort of like an anthropologist myself and understand how these came to be, knowing the history of America and the fact that black people weren't allowed to read, and the punishment to people who taught African Americans to read was quite significant, and also to the person learning to read. You know, these are very significant paintings. And I hope to God that they go way into the future, because I know there's a whole lot more in you to paint down the line about black men reading. This is an endless series that will never come to pass.
That's an amazing thought and concept you raised, Daniel. It really is very sobering at the end of the day.
Thank you.
And I enjoyed the process, and I find a kind of a satisfaction that really drives me on. It fuels this. This is not drudgery for me.
There's a painter that is essentially from the Bronx, Valerie Larco. Mm-hmm. She does urban settings. Mm-hmm. And she is also sort of recording history. So she does a lot of paintings of the Bronx. And when I see her paintings, it's almost the same thing. She's capturing something that's probably going to get torn down at some point. Mm-hmm. So she's literally making a record, historical record. That was the way that we used to record things, right? The artist was out in the field painting. And this is what these are. These are historical records.
Yes, they are. They go beyond just historical records of myself. In a certain kind of way, in a real way, these are a response to my experience as a reader. Starting back from when I was a child, I had teachers that would literally sabotage my
Wow.
Development. And it only took realizing the scrutiny a teacher does in the material they're going to present a child to know whether there are going to be typos in it. And I was presented typo after typo to the point where I couldn't trust whether what I was reading made any sense or whatever I was reading was real or not. That's just one example. Another example is the fact that just in a not so subtle way, certain types of individuals, certain types of students, and I went to school on Long Island where there's a mixed population of kids, would emphasize or support and give assistance to. Whereas I found myself really on my own, and then it goes in. It can go in as far as the fact that not every student, especially when we want to think about demographics and origins of students, or the race or socioeconomic origins or beginnings a student might have. He might be, or she, from a home where there's just no guidance, no support along those lines.
Yeah, we've had that conversation.
And it became very clear to me that teachers, by and large, do not fill that gap and have no intentions of taking that on.
Especially today with the cutting of budgets and erasure of blackness.
Okay.
Could you tell us how we can get in touch with you and where to find you, and if you have any shows coming up?
Okay, I have a show coming up in Westport, Connecticut. I will hang that show October 10th. I will give a talk October 29th, and the show will remain until the middle of December.
Okay, and if we go to the Westport, Connecticut Library, will you be on the website?
I will.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you have any handles that Instagram, Facebook?
My Instagram is Morse Larry, MorseLarry, and there you will, anyone interested enough or who will go to that extent will see some examples of my body of work in general.
Thank you. Can you leave us with some wise words of wisdom about the paintings and leave us with some enlightenment about the joy that it brings you and how you share that joy?
Yes, I would like to say that from the things you say and from the reaction I get from viewers, I get a sense that they are enjoying the results of my passion for reading.
Thank you.
And
we're gonna wind it up there. Thank you for being a guest. It was really enlightening for me, and I can't get enough of the paintings. I'm Daniel Lanzilotta. This is Corinne's Picks, and our guest tonight was Larry Morse.
I'ma show you how to party.